Oh, hey YouTube. I am getting ready for bed. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I don't edit my videos. I just talk about whatever I want, whenever I want, at whatever angle I want. I'm getting ready for bed, but we gotta talk about this Will slap thing because this is the kind of thing, if you're anything like me, you have been obsessed about it for 24 hours and then you're like, okay, I'm good, right? So I need to just get out all of my thoughts because this is the slap heard around the world. Everybody woke up, all the news stations, global, well, the news stations in countries where they're not currently, at war or whatever, but they woke up and heard about this slap. And my take on it is, I feel like my take on it is how most people, okay, I'll say on the surface, my take on it is I'm here for the memes. It's funny, right? And I think that's how most people feel about it. I think most people are just like, aha, right? That's what I think. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. By the way, subscribe if you vibe. I don't edit my videos. I just come on here whenever I want, okay? However I want, whenever I want, okay? So just subscribe if you vibe. Oh, I did not eat enough food today at all. I didn't eat enough food today at all. Okay, so if you want to summarize how I feel about it, I got my Kiki for today. Okay, let me go deeper. When I talk about it a little bit deeper, how I feel about it is, I am not outraged. I'm not outraged. I'm not at all. At all. There are people who feel that way. I'm just like, I get why you feel that way. I get why you feel like, this is just horrible behavior, this and that, call the police. I don't know how to say what I want to say in a way that will make sense to as many people as possible. But so let me not say it. But let me just say, I'm actually not mad at anybody involved. It's like one of those things where like something happens and it's like, well, you weren't supposed to do that, but it happened. And hey, maybe it happened for a reason. I don't know. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Okay. Let me break it down a little bit. So, Chris Rock tells a joke, an unscripted joke, making fun of Jada's hair or lack of. She is visibly upset. Okay, she's like eye rolling. Will Smith sees that because Will Smith was laughing at first. Was he laughing just to be nice? Like, ha ha. Was he laughing because he thought it was funny? Or was he laughing because that's what Will Smith does? Will Smith just, ha ha. That doesn't mean he thought you were funny. Will Smith, and I have listened to summaries of Will Smith's autobiography memoir just so I can get a better understanding of Will. Who knows what the laugh he did was supposed to mean? To me, it doesn't matter. People keep saying, and when I say people, I'm talking about on Twitter and on Clubhouse and stuff like that. They keep saying, are we just gonna ignore that he was laughing? That he was laughing at first? For me, yeah, it literally doesn't matter. I'm like, why does that matter that he was laughing? That I just don't. Leave me in the comments an explanation. It does not matter to me that even if he did think it was funny at first, why does that matter? Because that's not okay. Let me continue with my breakdown because I don't know. I just don't get it. Just leave me a comment, explain it. Because first of all, I don't think he did. I don't think he thought it was funny. But even if he did, and what, it doesn't matter because he saw Jada was upset. Now, I respect most opinions on this drama, but there are certain opinions I don't respect at all. I'll touch on them. One of them are the people who blame Jada. They say things like she shouldn't have looked upset. I'm sorry. If somebody's making fun of my hair, my bald head, my alopecia, I will roll my eyes. It will be involuntary. Especially, no. Because if it was Amy Schumer who made a joke about my hair, I don't know. It means something different. It means something different depending on who says it. It's Chris Rock who said it. Chris Rock, who made a whole documentary about how sensitive Black women are about our hair. Chris Rock, who doesn't like me. Chris Rock does not like the Smiths. He doesn't like them. And I think they're frenemy. I think, like when you go to work and there's a coworker, you don't like them. They don't like you. Don't know why, or maybe there's a reason why, but you'll smile together in pictures because you're coworkers. You need to get the job done, but you don't like each other, right? Imagine that coworker that doesn't like you says something slick. Imagine they said something slick, right? What's your response? I'm eye rolling. I'm so sorry. I am rolling my eyes. I'm the type of chick that will I will talk to you after I'm talking to you, and depending on what you said, I might say something right then and there, but that's just me. But I don't play, like, even if you're the person who's able to pull a Supreme Court justice, Mrs. Brown, and just even if you're that type of person who is able to do that in a moment where you weren't expecting your name to be called out because you are not nominated for nothing. You're not an actress. You are not at this award show because you were nominated. You're not expecting no one to refer to you. Even if you are able to hear somebody that doesn't like you talk on you on an aspect of you that is an insecurity when you weren't expecting it, if you were able to compose your face, like, good for you, but don't play like you don't know that a lot of people would not be able to do that. A lot of people would involuntarily, I know I would, 100%, 100%. In that moment, I am not remembering that there could be cameras on me. I am just like, I don't know, like, so when people say she should have fixed her face, I feel like that's unrealistic. That's an unrealistic expectation. And I feel like you know it and you don't want to think about it. Like, that's the thing that annoys me about people. Sometimes people have opinions where I'm just like, that is not a reasonable ask, and it. You just want to, for a minute, feel like you're better than people who are rich and famous. There are some people who love nitpicking at rich, famous people because in that moment, they feel like for once, I get to feel like I'm better than them. Okay, good for you. Okay, the other thing I don't appreciate about the opinions, people who blame Jada, is they'll also say she could have stopped him. I'm like, what do you mean she could have stopped him? They'll be like, oh, she could have said, don't go up. She could have squeezed his hand. I'm like, no, stop. Again, I feel like people are just willfully ignoring realities that there are people who, when they get in their feelings, when they're feeling hot and they've decided they're going to take action, nothing will stop them. Okay? You're telling me you never had that friend or that significant other that when they felt like this person needs to be dealt with, there's no amount of no, just calm down. There's no amount of holding their hand that could be done. They know what they want, they're gonna go do it. And then somebody told me she could have, got up and stood in front of him. Okay. Jada is a smaller woman than Will Smith. He will just sidestep her. Are you kidding me? If it was The Rock who got up in front of him, maybe he would sit down. Why? The Rock is bigger. The Rock is big. Okay, so that is an obstacle. Like, Will Smith's face will be up in his neck. Like, oh, what? Okay, Jada is so below him. Like, if she got up in front of him, I don't know if he was that emotional. I don't know. The camera was not looking at them to see what did she do when he got up. But I just kind of feel like it's not her responsibility, first of all. She didn't know nobody knew what in the world he was going to do. Shout out to the people who think it's all staged, right? And I asked the people who think it's staged, I'm like, if it was staged, why did they block Kanye from coming? Why wouldn't they have just asked Kanye to go ahead and do some antics if this was staged? Why did they need to? And they said, no, they blocked Kanye from coming to fool you into believing that this was real. I'm like, okay. But the theory is that Chris Rock knew and Will Smith knew and nobody else knew. Okay, that's the theory that's going on. So anyway, nobody knew what he was going to do. Nobody, like, I just feel like, well, did you expect her to read his mind? I don't know. I just think that saying she should have prevented it by telling him to stop and you just know that he would listen. I just don't buy that. I think that's unreasonable. And how was she supposed to know that he's getting up to slap? Maybe, like, if my man got up and his face was just straight, I would be, first of all, I'd be like, what's going on, right? I wouldn't have time to be like, no, don't do it. I wouldn't have time to even register. I would just be like, what's happening? And then also I would be thinking, maybe they planned this, right? Like, everybody else in that room was wondering, is this planned? So why wouldn't you put that on Jada too? Why? I don't know. I just feel like, how was everybody else given the benefit of the doubt except Jada? That doesn't make sense to me. So I don't like the people who want to blame Jada. Like, it's not her fault. The joke was made directly at her. She has the right to feel some kind of way about it. Okay, you have the right to feel some kind of way when somebody you don't like is talking on you. And she is not the one who went and slapped. And she didn't tell anybody to go and slap. So the blame doesn't make sense. And people are like, no, we're not blaming her entirely, but she plays a role. Yes, and okay, and the Academy also plays a role because they invited everybody there. And like, I don't, like, okay, so what about everybody who was around them? Nobody got up to stop him. So do you want to say also they played a role? I think that's a little bit ridiculous. Okay. So that's like, so Will gets up and Chris Rock is nervous laughing, okay? People think he was in on it because he had his hands behind his back and he was laughing. I think Chris Rock, first of all, everybody hates Chris. Chris Rock is used to this. Chris Rock is used to people being upset with him. And I think he's had a lot of practice in his career learning how to keep his composure when somebody else is unable to keep their composure. I commend Chris Rock for his response. He had a job. His job was to host the award ceremony, keep it light and fresh. And what can you do? He did the best that he could. And I think he did a great job. He did a great job keeping his composure. Then Will slap. Okay, Will slap. How can he slap? He slapped. We've watched the video multiple times from different angles to see, was it a real slap? People were like, no, Chris Rock's makeup was still on, his contour was still on. No, it was a slap. It was a slap, and we saw how he did slap. And then he went back. Okay. I couldn't believe it. I'm sure everybody who saw that, my jaw dropped. I was like, you did not just do that. You did not do that. Now, here's another viewpoint I can't get with. The people who are saying, I can't believe they did that in front of white people. No. If you are Black and you are concerned that this makes Black people look bad in front of white people, I feel very sorry for you. I feel it, because I know what it's like to still be in your yes massa phase. I feel like it's not uncommon for a Black person in the United States to have that yes massa phase where you think your existence is about shucking and jiving for the acceptance of the white population. No, actually, you're a human being. You are a human being, period. And if there's white people who want to be racist, you being on good behavior at every God-living moment of your life is not going to make them not racist. There are people who want to be racist and they will be racist regardless. You can't change that. We had a whole civil rights movement, and you don't even have to look here. There have been civil rights movements all over the globe where the methodology was peaceful resistance. The methodology was literally to be on your best behavior, and they still were throwing rocks. They were still spitting in your face. They were still sending the hounds. On your best behavior, what makes you think that in today's current climate is a little bit more civilized, the laws are less racialized? What makes you think that, like, if it barely worked back then, what makes you think it's gonna work today? Just be your human being self. Stop concerning yourself about what are the white people gonna think of me now. Stop. If they didn't think highly of you before, they're not gonna think highly of you ever. And good behavior from every Black person who looks like you isn't gonna make them give a damn about you. So stop. They don't give a damn about you. Stop giving a damn about them. Be a person. Be yourself. And allow other Black people to be themselves too. It really gives me, when I hear people say that, I just want to remind them, you know what an Uncle Tom is? The Uncle Tom was the slave who felt he had to keep other slaves in check. And when you say don't do it in front of white people, that's what you sound like. It sounds like you need to keep all the other Black people in check so that the massa don't get mad at y'all. No. We don't live like that anymore. We don't live like that anymore. There's a lot of injustice still, but you are not in that position anymore. You are not. You are not. None of us are not in that type of position where your life literally depended on it. So stop. Allow Black people to be human beings and stop using the threat of what white people think as a thing. Stop it. Nobody else does that. No other marginalized group does that. So stop. Like, it's just so sad when I hear that. I don't like to hear that. And if you're somebody who used to say that, it's not even that I'm mad at you if you say that. It just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like, you know how YouTubers, whenever they get exposed for stuff that they said and did in the past, they'll be like, I was in a really dark place, y'all. That's how I think of you. When you say that, I feel like you're in the sunken place. I feel like you're in the sunken place. I feel like you're in a dark place right now. And every time I hear it, I say something because I want to jolt you out, because maybe you just never thought of it this way before. Maybe no one's ever told you this before. You're valuable as a human being, regardless of your skin color, period. 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 Maybe you didn't hear it before, because there was a time, I remember the first time I heard somebody say, oh, in front of white people. And I was like, oh my, because growing up, I did wonder. I really like eating watermelon, but there's white people here. Should I eat watermelon and contribute to a stereotype? And then somebody told me, you're a human being, actually. If you like eating watermelon, eat the watermelon. You don't live your life for some BS. So anyway, I just always have to get on my soapbox and say it, because I feel like the people who say it, it's like, Lord, they know not what they do. They know not what they do. And it's very important to me, because I feel it's a reflection of your own self-esteem. And nobody should be feeling that way. Nobody should ever be feeling like they can't be themselves because of what other people think about a whole group of people. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, because it affects you on a personal level. It's not like, when you talk like that, it's not just you trying to speak on society and whatnot. It's a reflection of how you feel about yourself. No, be a person. You can be a person. Okay. I had to do that rant. Anyway, so when he did that, here's how I felt. I felt like I understand. I'm not gonna be like these. Okay, first of all, I'm not one of these girls who are like, he's standing up for Black women. He's protecting Black women. No, he is defending his wife, as he should. I'm so sorry, as he should. Period. I feel he's defending his wife. I don't think that's the place and time, right? Like I said before, it's like just one of those things where it's like, well, you did what you did. Chris Rock will never talk about Jada again. Okay, that's how I am in life, y'all. I mean, sometimes it happened, and it happened, but just keep her name out your mouth. Because here's the thing this is how I feel about Chris Rock. I feel like Chris Rock doesn't respect Will Smith, as a lot of men don't respect Will Smith for what their entanglement and stuff has done. But rather than taking a jab at Will Smith, you jab at his wife. And I feel like dudes do that to be shiesty. And that's why I'm not mad at Will for defending his wife. And I feel like he should defend his wife. And if he did not slap, because that is one way to get the job done, right? That is one way to make sure this dude don't talk about your wife again. That's one way to do it. I'm not entirely mad at it, but there also could have been, I don't know. You could have made a facial expression of this because the camera would come to you. But I understand. In the heat of the moment, you're not going to be thinking about, is the camera going to cut to me? You could have yelled something. You could have spoke afterwards. I don't know. There's some myriad of ways that it could have been handled. But I appreciate that it was handled. Okay, that's how I feel about it. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I know with a certain crowd, that's not a popular opinion. And I know there are certain crowds where you might be saying period along with me. But here's the other thing though. When we talk about Will Smith was defending his wife, here's another opinion I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate the people who bring up the entanglement stuff. We understand Will is feeling disrespected because due in large part to the entanglement stuff, right? We understand that's why he feels disrespected in general. But if the joke had been about the entanglement, I don't think Will Smith would have done that. I don't think he would have done that. Why? Because they put that out there. They did it to themselves, right? He's not going to slap. Somebody else the other day, Laverne Cox, whoever, somebody else the other day was making fun of their entanglement. He didn't slap. They didn't do anything inappropriate. Why? They just were visibly upset by it. Understandable. But they didn't go beyond that because they understood. They brought it out. They put it out there. People are going to say this stuff is very annoying. And it is what it is. But Jada, the joke was about his wife. The joke was not about nothing that they put out there. The joke was about his wife. That's why Chris Rock, when Chris Rock saw their faces, he said, come on, that was a nice one. When he said that, he meant that's a nice joke, but inferring, I could have said a much worse joke. The problem is that you're joking about his wife. Joke about Will, not his wife. Right? Will is nominated. Will was the one invited. Jada's the +1. Talk about Will. Make jokes on Will. You went to his wife for a reason. And in my opinion, when you're disrespecting a man's wife, that is worse than disrespecting the man himself. That's like a low blow. This might be a cultural thing. I don't know. Okay? Because there's some people who are they just don't get it. But I know Chris Rock gets it. Chris Rock gets it. Okay? Chris Rock is a comedian who hangs out with the black elites. Okay? He knows. Okay? And that's how that is in their culture as well. He knows. He makes jokes about that stuff. He 100%. Comedians are not stupid. Comedians are very smart people. Comedians are very aware people. He knows that. That is one of the worst things you can say to a guy is insult his wife on some stuff that's not. You didn't need to do that. You were trying to get at me by disrespecting her. And Will said that's unacceptable. You're not going to do that anymore because this is not the first time Chris Rock did it. It's not the first time he did it. Okay, so I don't like people bringing up the entanglement because the joke was not about entanglement and nobody talked about entanglement. So when people are like, why are you mad? Y'all the one who put your business out there. Y'all the one who put this embarrassing stuff out there. No, the joke, the alopecia thing, your bald thing, that's not the same thing as the entanglement. So don't conflate it. You're conflating it. Because you understand the entanglement is what lost them respect. You understand that part, but you're trying to put it into this scenario when it's actually not in the scenario. It influenced it, right? It influenced how sensitive they are, but that's not what happened here. Okay. The other thing is, I feel like there are dudes who feel like Jada doesn't deserve protection from her man or defense from her man. There are dudes who feel that because Jada's the one who she started the messiness. Jada, I think that boy August, right? If I remember correctly, that boy August started the messiness and Jada confirmed it. And so that lost Will lost a lot of respect, and then they went under table talk and talked about it, and that lost them more respect. So because of that, some dudes feel like Jada does not deserve Will defending her. That makes me sad to hear. God bless whoever you marry. Jada is not a baby mama, girlfriend, fling, ex, mistress, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife. Jada is none of those things to Will. Who Jada is to Will is his wife. It doesn't matter what relationship problems they have and been through, what's been public or not been made public. That is his wife, period. The term, like, what you do for your wife doesn't change just because she said embarrassing things publicly. It doesn't change. If they were going through a divorce, if they were separated, it wouldn't make sense, right? But they're not. They are still a union. They are still a union. They are still married. They are still committed to each other. They are still one. So, yeah, she still deserves protection from her husband because that's still his husband. And it really doesn't matter if you feel like she doesn't deserve it, because guess what? She's not your wife. So that's not for you to determine. It's not for you to determine what she deserves from her husband and what she doesn't deserve from her husband, because you're not her husband. Okay, I think I've covered all of the takes I hate. I hate all those takes. But okay, so he did the slap. Yo, if you feel like Chris should press charges, I get it. I feel like he's not gonna, because it's kind of a I don't know. It's just not the move to make. Listen, he's well within his right to do it. Nobody. He would get roasted if he did it. I'm so sorry. He would get roasted, but no one would be upset if he did it. He would get roasted if he did, but no one would be upset. But maybe again, this is a cultural thing, but I think what it is that it's already demasculating to get slapped, okay, in front of everyone. That is embarrassing and demasculating, and it feels like it would be even more demasculating for you to then call the police. I think that's the culture. There's some people are like, no, it doesn't matter. Okay, good for you, right? Because, yeah, not everybody feels that way, especially these days. And times are changing, but I feel like a lot of guys get it. Like, a lot of guys get, and a lot of women, I get it. I don't know. I get it. I get it. You just consider, that's the other thing. People are like, if that was a white man, Will wouldn't have done that and this and that. And if it was this, I know there's a lot of, if the shoe was on some other foot, this and such would have happened. But that's the thing. It wasn't on any other foot. It was Chris Rock. Like, it was this person. They have a certain history with this person. They're together in a certain culture with this person, in a certain, they are forced to be together with this frenemy, this person. Like, you know what I mean? You can on the shoe on the other foot all you want, but at the end of the day, the shoe was not on any other feet. It happened because the shoe was on Chris Rock's feet. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, you can philosophize on that. I kind of just don't care. I just kind of feel like it's not relevant. It's Chris Rock. There's a reason why Will felt Chris Rock needed to be slapped. Okay. What else? What else can we get into here? So Chris Rock took it like a champ. He really did. And I would love. He was shook. He was shook because he didn't want to tell any more jokes after that. Like, after that, he was like, Okay, the next category is just show the nominees. Yeah, I mean he was shooketh. I heard that he was joking about it after, okay? That's what I heard. If so, I would love if he posted on his Instagram the slap and then everybody hates. I would love that. I love when people are able to make fun of an embarrassing situation they were a part of. Will Smith is usually able to do that. Like I guarantee you in like 3 months time, he's going to post some TikTok making fun of himself about it. Just not right now. Not right now. He is trying to make sure the Oscar's not taken away, honey. Isn't that something that the day he slaps, he wins an Oscar finally? I heard Chris Rock is in good humor and in good spirits about it. I hope he is. I would love to hear the jokes about it that he comes up with. I would love to hear it. But I think he took like a champ. I think he was very professional. He came to do his job, and that's why the Oscars rehired him, because they know that he will do his job, okay? They know that no matter the awkwardness, no matter how awkward the room is, Chris Rock will do his job, okay? And that's a great reputation to have, and may he remain booked and busy. Will Smith, people have all their different opinions about it, and it's just one of those things that you go in a room with 10 people, you're going to hear 10 different opinions about it. And I think that's what makes it so interesting. That's why people have been talking about this nonstop, because people feel so many different ways about it. There's so many different feelings and thought processes to have about it. And that's why I've just been obsessed with it as well. I mostly was rewatching the footage just to see Lupita's facial reactions. Lupita Nyong'o is a goddess. She is a goddess, and I just never see her. I don't see her enough. I need to see her face more. And I loved watching the full range of emotion from Lupita. And that's the main reason why I was rewatching the video footage over and over. So he won Best Actor, and his speech, a lot of people, so the people who felt so offended by the slap were not feeling his speech. Obviously, I'm not offended by the slap. So I thought that was a good recovery speech. I don't know how much better you can get. People are like, oh, well, he didn't apologize to Chris. Well, no, he's not going to apologize. He's not in that moment. No, he feels justified in what he did. And I completely understand why he would feel justified. I don't know. I get it, y'all. I get it. I know some people don't get it. That's fine, because, if it ever happened to you, you can call the police and, get your justice. So if you don't get it, you're totally well within your rights to not get it. That's fine, but I just get it. And so no, in that moment, he's not going to apologize to Chris. No. Because in that moment, that will be like apologizing for defending his wife. In that moment, I'm defending my wife. You are trying to take it there, but you crossed the line. That's a line that you're not going to cross. And nobody, let this be a lesson to everybody to not cross that line ever again. That's what it was to him still. I'm like, that night. Still, so now he's not, and I personally felt like I wouldn't be mad if he never apologized. Some people feel like Chris Rock should apologize. Definitely not. No, definitely no. I don't think Chris Rock should apologize. Listen, I understand wholeheartedly and completely why Jada was offended. Like, putting aside that Chris Rock doesn't like you. Because the thing is, the joke, he came up with it on the spur of the moment. He did not write it down. It was not written. It was not pre-rehearsed. He came up with that in the spur of the moment. That was a jab. That joke was actually a joke. That's something I think people don't understand. It's not just a joke. That was a jab. That was a personal jab. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are trying to be slick. You are trying to be passive aggressive and get away with it. And when I think Will seeing her face made him realize what that was. Like, maybe at first Will just thought whatever, but seeing her face, he realized what that was. And he was like, you're not going to get away with it again. Anyway, let's put that aside, right? Because most people who are seeing the situation don't think it's a job. They're not considering the previous history in that. They just think it's just a joke. Even as just a joke, I understand why she would be offended. Like, I also have alopecia. I get why she would be offended. And the joke was not just a joke about bald people in general or anything like that. The joke was specifically to her. Specifically. That's another reason why it's a jab. But anyway, so she has the right to be upset and feel offended by it. It doesn't, and I don't, people saying, well, I have cancer and I wasn't offended, or I also have alopecia. Yes, I also have alopecia. I wasn't offended. If somebody said, if I was rocking the bald look and somebody said, hey, UD, looking forward to G.I. Jane 2, I actually would not be offended at all. I would just be like, but let it be somebody I don't like say that to me. I would be like, what? Why are you even looking at me? What? Who gave you permission to even look at me? But okay, let's put all of that aside. Let me pretend like I'm naive, like most of these people are. People are acting naive. And you know what? Maybe you're not familiar with the Smiths and rock and all that, so maybe you are naive, whatever. I could see how she could be offended. And she has the right to be offended because it was about her. So people feel like Chris Rock should apologize. I don't think he should, because it's a joke that it's not widely offensive. You get what I'm saying? It's not a joke that all of us alopecia people are offended by. We're not. It's not to that level. It's not that bad. I'm not saying that it was a hard funny joke. It's not that funny, but it's also not offensive on the wide scale. So I don't think he should apologize. People are saying he knew she has alopecia. He's making fun of her alopecia. There are people who feel like, what if Chris did not know she has alopecia? He knew. Like, stop. Chris Rock knows the Smiths. No, he knew. Listen, I feel like sometimes people want to play naive. That's cute. Let's not do that for a second. He knew. But okay, and even if I just humor that, okay, he didn't know. Even if he knew, right? On the basis that he knew, I still don't feel like he should apologize. I just don't. I just feel like the joke was not offensive. I feel that she felt a way about it. But as a comedian, I feel like as a comedian, from the perspective that he's a comedian telling jokes as a part of the show, the joke he told was not widely offensive. He shouldn't need to apologize. And if he does apologize to Jada, I don't even think it needs to be a public apology. But that's just my opinion. You know, I feel like if he had said that like directly one-on-one to her, then yeah, you need to apologize. But y'all, that's the other reason why it's a jab. It's a way for him to be passive aggressive and get away with it. Because even I'm saying he doesn't need to apologize. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there are people, people think that people are not slick like that. And y'all are so lucky to have never dealt with somebody like that. But people are slick, right? That was his way to get his job in without having to deal with being held accountable. And I agree, like, because of the location and situation, I don't think he needs to be held accountable. But I get it if you feel like he does. That's an opinion that I'm not mad at you for feeling that way. I get it. What else? So Will Smith apologized, and later on in Instagram. And he did apologize to Chris, and I felt like that's what you have to do. You need to keep the Oscar. You've been in this industry for a really long time, and it's kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what I mean? Like, you need to make sure you don't lose that Oscar. You have been doing too much work and too much good work for too long. So you deserve that Oscar, and you need to make sure you keep it. Apologize to, like, your ego is not worth losing the Oscar. It really isn't, because you having that Oscar, it means a lot. Like, not just for you, but for, like, it means a lot just in general. Keep it, and so if you have to put your ego aside and apologize, and do it. It's worth it. It's worth it. 100% worth it. Apologize to Chris. And also, there's a certain image Will Smith wants to have. And if you want to maintain that image, you have to apologize. I personally feel like he didn't need to apologize. That's just me. But if you want to maintain this image and you want to ensure that you're not banned from the Oscars and you keep your Oscar, you need to apologize. So he did. And I'm glad that he did. And I like the way that he worded it. And people want to say that it was all a hoax and it was scripted and the apology was written by somebody, yada, yada, yada. I don't think so. I don't care. Even if it is, I don't know. I don't care. It was interesting and entertaining and sparked a lot of interesting, fun discussions. Let me tell you, it was really fun to go on the Clubhouse app and for once not see all these rooms about how the Black community is going to hell in a handbasket because of people's dating preferences. Let me tell you, it gets old fast. So it was fun to talk about something other than that for once. And it was fun to hear people's different perspectives and all this. My partner, he was like, I don't respect that. I saw a few people were like, I don't respect Will Smith anymore. But I just feel like, you already didn't respect him. You already didn't respect him because of the entanglement thing. You already didn't respect him. So, like, that's fine. Like, it's not that this made you respect him more. I think for some guys it did make them respect him more, but if you feel like you didn't respect him, you already didn't respect him. So it's like net neutral. Like, that didn't do or hurt anything. I enjoy also the discussions of, diving into what does it mean to be a man? Was this a performance of masculinity? Those type of intellectual discussions. I enjoy hearing those. And dang, this video is about to be an hour long. I did not know I could talk about this for an hour, y'all. But it is what it is. Because I need to go to bed. What else did I want to say? I watched Lovely T's live stream about it, and Lovely T, she feels some kind of way. She doesn't like Jada because Jada was doing the boycott the Oscars thing. I don't know. I don't care about that. I mean, we all knew that didn't mean anything, right? Like, okay. Now, every time they complain about the Oscars or whatever, it's just like, but y'all don't, okay, but when there's award ceremonies that center minorities, you're not there. Like, the people who were boycotting the Oscars were the same people who won awards like the NAACP award and stuff like that, and they didn't show up to pick up the award. So, like, it's just kind of like, to me, it's more tap dancing, whatever. But now y'all are here, right? So it's like, I just didn't take it seriously. Lovely T took it very seriously. I didn't take it seriously. And I don't know, it just doesn't feel relevant to this discussion for me. What else happened? I think I talked about all the different perspectives that came across today. Oh, and one more thing. People are also asking, was he defending his wife, or was this just his ego? I think that's a good question. And it's a very valid question for somebody like Will Smith. Because I finished his memoir, the summaries, and Will Smith is very self-centered. I did not know he was to that level. And here's what I mean by that. So y'all remember when his daughter Willow Smith had that song, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth. It went viral. And Will was super excited about it, as I would be as well if my daughter was starting to have an international career. And he was making her work and do all these appearances and all this stuff. And then one day, and this girl was 11 years old when she said this, I'm like, Will, I just thank God for you going to therapy and just trying to learn how to be more open and accepting. Because the fact that your daughter was able to communicate to you in the way she did at that age, you have a brilliant daughter. Your daughter is intellectually beautiful. Okay. So Will Smith was like, we're going to have a week break and then we're going to China or whatever. And Willow said, no, Daddy, I'm done. And he was like, yeah, you're done for a week and then we got to make our plans for China. She was like, no, I'm done. I'm not, after this week, I'm not doing any more work. And Will Smith was like, what do you mean? You're not done. I said we have a week. And then Willow was like, Daddy, it doesn't matter to you that I said that I'm done? And I don't know about y'all, but no, I do know about y'all. I'm just imagining if my child said that to me. It's just one of those things that's like out of a movie. You know what I mean? That's like out of a movie. Like, if my kid said that to me, I would be heartbroken. Okay? Thinking of it from my perspective, I would be like, no, oh my God, baby. No, I do care. I don't know. It would just snap me out of whatever like hyper tiger mom mindset I'm in and remember that, wait, my baby is 11 years old. And she totally has the right to not put in the same amount of work that I, as a grown adult, have chosen to put into my career. She totally has the right to just have fun with a hit single and then go back to being a kid. And it's important to me that my baby knows I give a damn about how she feels. That's how I think, right? And when I heard that she asked that question, I was like, right in my feels. And then they were at the dinner table, I think, with the family. And Willow said, Daddy has an image of an ideal family in his head, and it's not us. I'm just like, the fact that your 11-year-old daughter, first of all, has the cojones to say that. And then the insightfulness to understand that's what's happening at 11. I'm just like, oh my God. I would just feel like my issues are so apparent that my child is able to articulate it. You just have a beautiful daughter, Will and Jada. You raised a beautiful. Will Smith has produced 3 beautiful human beings. I love those kids. The Will Smith's children, I love them. Okay. Anyway, I just thought, oh my God. And from my perspective, I'm thinking, yeah, I would be kind of sad. Like, man, my daughter had this chance to like set herself up for life and be rich and famous and successful, and damn, she wants to throw it away. It's a shame, but I respect the decision. She can be a kid. And then when she says the thing about the family, it would really give me pause. Like, my baby really thinks I don't love her. My baby really thinks I don't love my family. My family thinks I don't love them. I would be having a freaking existential crisis, okay? I would. But Will Smith's response was more like he said that he felt more like it was him. Like when Willow was having success, it felt like his success. When he said we're taking a week break and then we're going to China, it felt like, and she said no, it felt like she was throwing him in the trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, his ego is that tied up. I understand that feeling like your family is an extension of you, that can get a little toxic, but that I feel like that's kind of understandable. I think people feel that to a certain extent, but Will felt like it was him. And when I realized something about Will, I was like, no, Will, you got a problem. You have a problem. Because it's a reoccurring theme for him in his life. If you read his memoir, or if you even remember his interviews, you know, when he would talk about stuff, it's a reoccurring theme in his life. He has a problem with I don't know. Since then he's done ayahuasca and all this stuff to get in tune with himself. He used to have a really big problem, and I think when you're in an emotional state like he was last night, things that you've worked on and worked past can come back. And I think he has an issue with making his family a part of his identity. So when people say he did it for his ego, he didn't do it to defend his wife, he did it for his ego, I get it, because that is entirely possible. That is entirely possible. Right? I read it as he's defending his wife. But it could be the problem he's always had here it is again. And in a very embarrassing way. I'm sure today he woke up and felt incredibly embarrassed. I would. I've done things in the heat of the moment that, yeah, even after I did, I felt like that's what you get, punk. But later on I was like, maybe I could have done something else. Right? Maybe it would take me like a day or two to be like, yeah, no, it wasn't the best call. I'm sure he felt very embarrassed today after he kind of realized the message he thought he's sending versus the message that is actually sent. Right? It doesn't align with the brand you want to have. But it's entirely possible that he felt like, that is me. Not only are you mocking my wife, which is already a very big insult to a man, But also, that's me as well. You did a double whammy. You did a double whammy. A double whammy deserves slap, public. I get it. I'm like, yeah, the ego. And then people talked about, was it performative? Did he feel like, in order to prove my masculinity, did he feel like this is a moment to prove I am a man? Y'all have been making fun of me, calling me a simp and this and that, telling me that Jada has my cojones in her hand, and y'all have been demasculating me. And here is a chance for me to prove I am masculine. I am a real man. When I started talking to people talking about that, I was like, hold on, wait a second. Maybe you're onto something. Maybe you are onto something. Because at first I was like, I don't know. So then I read part of his book and listened to the summary. And I was like, child, maybe that is what it is. His attempt to prove he is a man. Maybe it is ego. Maybe it isn't really about, I challenge you to a duel. Weehawken, dawn, guns drawn. Like, maybe it's not. I'm defending her honor. Maybe it is about Will. I don't know. Maybe they will do a table talk episode. Red Table Talk episode about it. And I would love to hear it. I think Will has made a lot of progress in this regard. Let me tell you, the way Will describes himself in his memoir, I will say a younger version of me would be attracted to that. I used to be very hustle culture, grind, and I was very attracted to young men who lived by that. The Will Smith feeling like he felt like his ideal wife would be a woman who supports that he has a dream and a goal and he's going to do it and or die trying, and she supports that and loves that about him and wants what comes with that, and she wants to be in a seriously monogamous relationship, and she's also intelligent and smart and has stuff going on. That is exactly what I wanted when I was younger. If you've ever seen the movie Whiplash, it's the movie about that boy who wants to be the best drummer. He has a girlfriend and the girlfriend dumps him because she's like, you don't have time for me. You're just so obsessed with this drumming stuff and it's not healthy. And I remember thinking, what a shame. Because if I had a boyfriend like that, I would ask him to marry me. I was so attracted to that. Maybe that's an influence from my father, because my father he was not intense like Will is, or not even close to how Will's father was, but not even as close to as intense as Will is. But he did have that, you need to work hard. You need discipline. He had that. And my dad didn't need to beat it into me or talk about it all the time. He was an example. He lived that. He was that. And that's what I knew. To me, that is what a man who is an eligible bachelor does. And that's how an eligible bachelor for me thinks. And I mean, yeah, I guess my current partner is kind of like that. I mean, I think both of us have toned down because we have experienced working ourselves to an unhealthy point, and we don't want to do that again. But even now, he still kind of has that. I'm happy he takes time for himself, to relax, to enjoy. I'm really glad he does that now. But he also, he still has some of that, and I like it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, like even now that I'm like no longer into hustle culture, and I watch these YouTubers who kind of, they make fun of hustle culture and self-help gurus and stuff, but I can't make fun of it all the way because I still admire a lot of aspects of it. I still do. And I used to be very much like Will. Will was kind of intolerant of people who didn't see it his way. Intolerant of people who didn't value working to the bone. You know, he just felt like, what are you thinking? What's wrong with you? Why wouldn't you? And I also was like that. I was like, why wouldn't you want your husband to be like that? Like, duh. I don't know. I was like that. I used to be like that. Okay. And then I grew and I realized, wait, like, no, it's totally fine that people have different, when people used to tell me that they didn't want to be wealthy or successful, or like when people would tell me they just wanted regular basic life, in my head, I'm like, you're lying to yourself. No, everybody wants. It was very much like in The Devil Wears Prada, you know, at the end where Meryl Streep was like, oh, come on, Andy, everybody wants to be us. Right? Remember that? I used to be that. I used to be Miranda Priestley. I used to be like, no, like, you're lying. You're telling me you just want to keep working at your dingy job and live paycheck to paycheck and just come home and watch TV? You're lying. And people be like, no, that's what I want. Like, I don't want anything more out of life. And I'm like, no, you're lying. That's how I used to think. And that's how Will used to think on steroids. And I've grown from that, and Will has grown from that. I kind of feel like it took you this long to realize that, because I am relatively young. Relative to Will and Jada, I'm a young person, and I feel like, why did it take you so long? I've come to this realization. Why did it take you so long? Why did it take you like ayahuasca trips but then there I go judging again. I'm judging again. I need to like, let me chill on that. I'm judging again. I'm not saying like never be judgmental. Sometimes you're gonna be judgmental. Sometimes you should be judgmental, but I shouldn't have said that. That's one of those things that I feel like, no, don't be judgmental. You don't know what people are going through. I mean, Will had childhood trauma that it took him that long to value therapy. It took his family breaking to understand he needs to change. He needs to go to therapy and try something else. That's how long it took for him. I had different childhood trauma, so my journey is different. So anyway, I apologize for judging. Actually, I feel like that's the kind of thing that I don't think I should judge him for that. Because also I see that he still struggles with it too. Because his outbursts last night could have been from that. Anyway, I think I talked about everything I need to talk about with this. I did see somebody was saying, because in his apology on Instagram, he was like, I'm still growing, or I'm still healing, or whatever. And somebody's like, this couple is always healing. Why can't they never get healed? That was just a room title. Maybe that was clickbait, but I can see how somebody would feel that way and say that. I feel like, no, we're always here. I feel like, no, we are always healing. Right? Like, I feel like, I don't know. I just get it. I get why he would feel the way he feels. And I was like, I wasn't mad at the slap, but The more I think about the people who are like, no, it was actually his ego, the more I think about it and I try to learn more about Will to get a better understanding, I'm like, yeah, maybe it was his ego. Maybe. Because if it was for his ego, and maybe that's why he apologized to Chris. Because if it was for his ego, you need to apologize to Chris. I respect defending your wife's honor, but if it's just really just for your ego and you know that, then you know it's not the same. I feel like dudes can respect defending your wife, but you can't. I feel like Will's the kind of guy who needs to look in the mirror and like feel okay about himself. And a guy like Will, if he sat there and realized, no, that was my ego, he has to apologize, because he won't. Because I wouldn't be able to, if I would realize, no, I didn't do that for the reason I actually think it's justified. I didn't do it for that reason. I wouldn't feel right. I wouldn't feel, even just now, it didn't feel right in my spirit. Like I realized I'm being judgmental about something that I personally believe you shouldn't be too judgmental about. So I had to apologize. You know what I mean? I like Will Smith. Even after this, I like him. I'm still a fan and I still respect him. I still admire him. I do. If you feel like I shouldn't admire him, then let me know why in the comments. But I still like him. I'm one of these people who grows up with celebrities and finds and learns about them and like respects them. You know, I'm one of those people. I know there are people who like just, they don't give a damn. Like there's no respect for celebrities. Like I don't give a shit. I'm not one of those people. Like I actually like respect and value you as the person that I perceive you to be. You know what I mean? So I still like Will Smith, and I've never not liked Jada. I am not a part of the Jada hate train at all. You can say what you want to about this entanglement stuff and the embarrassment. I understand. I get it. I agree. But also, that's her prerogative. That's the prerogative of their marriage. That's the prerogative of their marriage, right? And, you know, Will Smith is more discreet about the people he does woohoo with outside of marriage, right? He's more discreet about it. I think Will Smith wishes his entire family would be more discreet, but that's his family. That's the other reason why I wanted to read his autobiography, because I couldn't wrap my head around, how did you, Will Smith, fall in love with someone like Jada? How did you, somebody who's so strict on discipline and you care about appearances, how did you fall in love with a free spirit like Jada? And how did you relinquish your insecurities to allow your children to be who they are? Because your children are weird. And I say that in a good way. They're the type of weird that I think is actually freaking beautiful. Yes, I am that person who likes Grimes. Okay, I think Grimes is gorgeous and beautiful, and I like her. I'm sorry. I am that person who likes Tyler the Creator. Yeah, I like these people. I do. So when I say weird, I'm not saying it in a way that I actually think is weird. I'm saying it in a way like someone like Will Smith will think they're weird. That's what I mean. And how did you give them space to just be who they are? How did you do that? And I commend Will because I think that's really hard. My partner in another life could have been like Will Smith, okay? He used to be very dogmatic and militant about, if you're going to associate with me, you need to be on your best behavior and look this way. And he used to be very much like that. And he's with me. I am more of a free spirit. I'm definitely a free spirit, okay? And I'm like, how did you do that? I'm like, how were you one way
and now you're like permanently with somebody who's the exact opposite way. And my partner said that he grew up, he learned to chill out, he learned to like meditate and accept that people are different and find the beauty in this and that. And when I read that book, I feel like Will Smith kind of went through the same thing. But I feel like he is so intense that he probably like it probably comes up for him, like this feeling like I need to control this, I need to control. And he probably has to do to like be like, everybody's their own person. People make their own choices that make them happy. Like, I feel like he probably has to do that on the regular. And when you push somebody too far, those emotional regulation tools that they had to learn kind of go out the window. So I get it, I understand it, and I think these men can move on. I think they can definitely hash it out in private, and I think they should, because Chris Rock, you have thrown, like, you are throwing too many jabs at Jada. Like, you've just done it one too many times. So I think it's worth a one-on-one discussion. Like, what is up? What is up? Stop, please, thank you. And then let bygones be bygones. Make fun of it in 6 months. I think it's that chill. I do. I think it's that chill. I think some people are doing fake outrage. I do. I'm so sorry. I think some of you are not. Some of you are truly outraged. Okay. But some of you are doing fake outrage. Like, no, chill. Like, we see through that. I think most of us just think the whole thing is just kind of funny and we're here for the memes. So I need to go to bed. Thank you for watching. If you watch to the end, but you don't have anything to say, just leave the paw print emoji so we know you were here. And let me know your thoughts in the comments, because after today, you're probably going to be sick and tired of talking about this. So just let it all out. Let it all out in the comments. And like I mentioned, I am respectful of almost all opinions on this. And I already ranted on the opinions I don't respect. And if you have the kind of opinion I don't respect, just kindly explain yourself to me. Just kindly, like, explain to me if I got anything wrong or misconstrued or something. Please do. Please do. But I just kind of feel like we're probably just on principle in disagreement. Like, our moral principles are just not in alignment. And that's what it is. So let me know in the comments. I'm going to bed. Much love, much luck. Peace out.